We are Nerd Cult Online, and this is Manic Mechanics. At first glance, looking at just images of the game without getting much detail, it very much looked like a game very similar to games like Overcooked, which is an absolute family favorite of ours. And so when the opportunity came to give this one a review, and the team offered up that chance, we definitely took it, just in hopes that it was even similar to Overcooked. Now, right here we play the first stage, completely skipping over the tutorial, figuring, we know best, but pretty quickly we realize this game could be easier. It's actually a lot harder than I expected early on, and part of that was because I skipped the tutorial and missed some very, very helpful tips and tricks, mostly with the dash and being able to throw the items like you can in Overcooked. And my assumption was right. The gameplay overall is very much like Overcooked. You have your stations where you're performing different tasks. The game itself is literally, as the name implies, you are a mechanic, and so you're actually working to essentially repair cars. And so like right here, we wasted a lot of time trying to figure out, what items go where, and started working with them and figuring out how to actually do the work itself too. And so that took us quite a while. And now, like as you can see there, got paint on the ground. So paint on the ground is a very bad thing when you're using dash. When you're just walking around like normal, it's not that big of a deal, but you have the ability to mop it up every time. And so you got to make sure that you stay on top of that, because if you are going to use dash, it does affect, or it does drastically slow you down if you wind up on that paint, because you'll end up slipping and falling on your butt, and that makes getting to the next task and getting the vehicles out quickly a bit harder. For the first few stages, most of the vehicles you're working with are cars, and then when you get to the second map, you unlock some buggies and things like that too that you're working on. And looking into the game for later stages, it looks like there's also UFOs and other types of vehicles that you're going to be working on, and there's actually an entire Halloween themed part of the map that you have to unlock using your cogs or sprockets that you get. And so definitely a lot of variety here in the types of stages. One of the stages actually looks like a bowling alley, and so overall, based on those mechanics, we definitely had a great time with this game. It felt and plays exactly like Overcooked, and we are absolutely here for that. I mean, we had a blast. I know in the video you only see us playing single player. Now, with games like Overcooked, my family tends to get a bit too competitive, and we end up arguing and causing ourselves to screw up and fail because we can't, basically, pick a direction, because we're all trying to do something different and think that we all know better. And this game is no different in that regard. However, there's a lot fewer variations of what you're doing compared to Overcooked. With this one, you fix the engine, you fix the tire, you fix the door. Later you get spoilers and batteries for charging and things like that. But when you fix a door, there's not a door with a certain recipe of different things. And like here we have pink cars, there's yellow cars, red cars. If you put on a door or a spoiler of the wrong color, you don't actually seem to lose points. And you don't seem to get more points for getting the right color either. The only time that you actually get bonus points that I've noticed is when you actually are using one of the glowing parts that you see on the conveyor belt that are already prepared and ready to go, and all you have to do is just throw it on the vehicle. And so what we ended up started doing is my son would sit and watch for those items, and he would alert me to them while I'm working on other ones, so that way we can grab them and at least get them off the conveyor first, so that way we can finish the cars a bit faster. And doing that tactic really worked for us. But if you are a fan of Overcooked, you're going to have a blast with this one. I mean, they absolutely crushed it. It was so much fun. And again, the extra simplicity in comparison to Overcooked. I know these are just the early stages, and so it does get a little bit more difficult as time goes on, but it is still, in my opinion, much more simple recipes compared to Overcooked, but still, it is a fantastic game, and we loved it.